just says you just observe and you don't judge anything at all. It's just observation, because judging it is saying you need to change it. And it's not about changing it through just the experience of observation, which I would say is choiceless awareness.
Mm.
That's the process
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah, I agree with
you
that.
know. And so that's been actually really helpful to me. Just, it's almost like a huge amount of, because I struggled with the word work, and
Yeah.
because I know that work, my personality gets very engaged with that. So that's been really insightful to just have the process of observation be sufficient, because then it unhooks me from fixing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about, am I my personality or not. I definitely, it sort of ebbs and flows quite a bit, but I'm just noticing versus sort of self-evaluating everything. Just, it's almost like coming from a lot of messages of not enough and not good enough and not doing enough and that kind of thing. The idea to just relax into observation
Yeah.
is like, it's been great. I don't
Yeah.
want to say great, like, I mean, it's just been like, okay,
A
this is like,
relief.
yeah, okay, all I have, yeah, just, I mean, it's enough to self-observe.
Exactly as Nikki said, it's just seeing what is. And when you see what is, I sort of contend that the false falls away. That's the amazing power of choices awareness. And in that sense, you don't have to do anything. Uh, but there does have to be installed that willingness to just see and just look. So it's almost like you can not look, you can be unaware. That's too far this way. You can look, and then the personality can come in and start self-criticizing or whatever. But the middle way, the Buddhist thing, the middle way would be there's just that awareness, and that does everything it needs to do. And we don't actually have to do anything with that, actually, because if it tells us to make a change, then we'll hear that and we'll make it.
I love what you said, Nikki, about just observing as well.
Mm. Yeah, it's almost like if there's no problem, there's no problem. You just keep watching, but you also watch when it gets bad and when you're not having a good time. That's the harder thing, right?
Mm.
I mean, you could argue it's hard to watch when it's going well because you're just lost in it, having a good time, going well. But it's that thing of like up or down, you never stop watching. When the hard stuff happens, for example, I mean, a couple of weeks ago we talked about the wound. So the real test is when you're kind of tiptoeing around and you can feel the wound, the kind of depth of the trauma of that or the fear in that or whatever it is. Can you keep watching then? That's the real thing. And if you can watch then, you see, this is vital. It's almost like you can treat all the rest as training. If you can keep watching, whatever happens. And then when the big challenges come up, and as soon as it was brought up 2 weeks ago, this is something that can happen. And it is one of the biggest challenges, you could say, to this exploration, because it's the time that your personality is most likely going to protect you and close down and run away from it and not feel it and all of those things, because it's built to kind of protect you from that. So that's when the choices awareness, the challenge to stay in that watcher, is probably at the strongest you'll ever need it, really. I mean, this is the difference between reaction and response again. A reaction comes from personality and it kind of betrays personality. And a response comes from beyond personality. And it comes from that one that is always watching. It's not that a reaction can't happen, but I would say the gap between it being caught and seen is very, very fine, if not infinitesimal.
I had a good example, or two good examples of what we're talking about during the week. So I kind of, one of the days, feeling really good. It's really justice going on, really, present. And I was having breakfast, and then this anxiety came in. Got to get to work, got to leave, got to get dressed. And that kind of drive to future driven sort of comes in. And it was just seen, and it was okay. Once it was seen, it was okay. It was included, and it wasn't a problem. It's like taken care of in the seeing of it. And it still was there, but it was more background, or
Yeah.
more, it wasn't normally that would be take over or whatever, but it was fine.
It's almost to do with acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like it's a smaller portion of the happening than it would normally be.
Yeah.
It's included or whatever.
Yeah, that's the word, isn't it? It's sort of inclusion.
Yeah, it's included, and it's fine. It's not a problem. Then it can be there, but it's not the only thing that's happening.
Yeah. If you sort of increase the division between this part of you here and this one you want to escape or you don't want to be there, you kind of amplify the conflict. And you're talking about, by inclusion, you're turning down the conflict almost.
Yeah.
I guess to take it further, Colm, is like, in the end, everything you've mentioned is all great and it's kind of therapeutic level, I suppose. But in the end, there will be the revelation, I would imagine, of why that voice is there and the kind of undermining of it on a deep level. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the end, I would say if this continues, I have to say, I guess, the healing of it, because it is what is it? It's like a stone in your shoe you're living with, isn't it? Just the fact, you're dealing with it well, but just the fact that having to deal with it all the time is not part of the natural state, is it? So I would say that in the end, that would be a big day for you, when that is, and I would say that can happen, definitely. It's a natural outcome of this because the false is shown up, and I would say it's part of the false, is part of the story of the personality with your dad and whatever.